দিলে আলোক দান, যোগী জনে দিলে তুমি যোগ অনুদান, যোগী জনে দিলে তুমি যোগ অনুদান, অন্তর মলিনতা শোধা করে, অন্তর মলিনতা শোধা করে, নবীন বিবেকানন্দ স্বামী জন গণ মন উদ্বোধা করে। সেবা তব ছিল মহাধর্ম, ব্যথিতে ব্যথা দূর ছিল মহাকর্ম, সেবা তব ছিল মহাধর্ম, ব্যথিতে ব্যথা দূর ছিল মহাকর্ম, দরদে ভরা ছিল সদা তব মর্ম, দরদে ভরা ছিল সদা তব মর্ম, দীন দুঃখী জন সেবা করে, দীন দুঃখী জন সেবা করে। সবার উপরে মানুষী সত্য দেখিলে ঈশ্বর প্রেমেতে মুক্ত, সবার উপরে মানুষী সত্য দেখিলে ঈশ্বর প্রেমেতে মুক্ত, মিথ্যা জগতে প্রেমী যে সত্য, মিথ্যা জগতে প্রেমী যে সত্য, শাশ্বত মন্ত্র প্রচার করে, শাশ্বত মন্ত্র প্রচার করে, বিনোদী বিবেকানন্দ স্বামী জন গণ মন উদ্বোধা করে, জ্ঞান পথ বাহিয়া এলে নামি, জ্ঞান পথ বাহিয়া এলে নামি, অজ্ঞান মন জ্ঞান ধরা করে, অজ্ঞান মন জ্ঞান ধরা করে, বিনোদী বিবেকানন্দ স্বামী জন গণ মন উদ্বোধা করে, জন গণ মন উদ্বোধা করে, জন গণ মন উদ্বোধা করে।
Very nice, very good.
মানুষটা মাইকটা উনি দাঁড়িয়ে করবেন।
Everybody signing.
Okay, can we do that later? They will sign in after that. Let's get the talk started. Otherwise, it will be interrupted.
Yeah.
দেখো শুনতে পাচ্ছ?
It is not on.
উল্টো আরেকটু এগিয়ে দাও। Can you stay? Have step back. Yes.
Yes. Is it okay? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, for us.
Okay. Yes, I decided to stand and speak. Although initially I told I'll sit and speak, but then when I sat, I saw I can't see people sitting on the back, and then in a reciprocal way, I could see that they also can't see me. So I thought it will be best if I stand and speak. So uh, let us begin. We had a very nice music session, singing the praises of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, and Vivekananda. And uh, let us think of Sri Ramakrishna as the concretization of the infinite grace of God, as it is described by Swami Abhedananda, and that particular verse is used for the daily puja of Sri Ramakrishna. वितरितुमवतीर्णं ज्ञानभक्तिप्रशान्ति प्रणयगलितचेत्तं जीवदुःखासहिष्णुः धृतसहजसमाधिं चिन्मयं कोमलाङ्गं विमलपरमहंसं रामकृष्णं भजामः. That salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, who to distribute the knowledge, devotion, and peace has taken this human form. And now it is his body, his person is the source for inspiration and the very ideal that God is the goal of our life. Something when we see in a concrete manner, then we have more faith and more dynamic sort of devotion to that. Let me explain this term devotion, static, and dynamic. Static devotion, okay, I believe in God. But that's it. Yes, I sometimes give donation to this temple and that church and like that. Yes, that is a devotion mostly of static nature. That there is no real attempt to change the life according to that devotion. But the dynamic devotion is when you are devoted to something, your life gets fired with that ideal and you want to live up to it. So that is the dynamic aspect of devotion. So thinking of Sri Ramakrishna as this nice, beautiful, very inspirational and profound verse by Swami Abhedananda, you see that here is somebody who is distributing jnana, bhakti, prashanti, the ultimate knowledge that God alone is real. And that is the not just saying of Sri Ramakrishna, that is the life of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna as presence, if you, it is not just the words of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna was presence. Sri Ramakrishna was an exemplar, and Sri Ramakrishna gave the directions, the advice in words. But this, when you think of all three, the presence of Sri Ramakrishna is bringing the peace and the devotion. He stands for this ideal that he put in words many times. But even without being put in words, his life presented that God alone is real and God realization is the only goal of human life. And that is what Sri Ramakrishna presented. And now we have to feel it to mold our life in that ideal, like Sri Ramakrishna said many times that you know that uh, looking at his person, he said, this is a mold. And like when you make a mold, then you pour the whatever clay or some molten metal, and then exactly like that, the thing, a statue or whatever comes out. So Sri Ramakrishna said that this is the mold pointing to his own person, and put your life in this mold. So thus we see that this becomes then a devotion, not just static, not limited to just, uh, putting the head like that, swinging it this way, that way, to say whether do you believe in God? Some would say, yes. And in South Indians, uh, like that Jai Shri would say, that it is means yes, somebody in North India would think that is saying no. So it is, but whether somebody swings the head like this or like this, our belief in God is just up to that. Does it change our life? That is the question. Does it make us go Godward? Does it make us bring that God in our life? And what happens with that as we move to bring God in our lives? What happens as God comes in us? God is the ultimate knowledge, ultimate bliss, and total love and peace that started coming in our life. The life starts becoming really blessed. Uh, all the, the struggles, the desires, and cravings, they start vanishing. All the irritation in the mind
Can we
that
ask everyone to please
start.
silence your phones? Please put on silence mode all your phones. Even if you're texting or calling, just put it on silent mode so that it doesn't disturb other people. Thank you.
Okay, sorry for the disturbance. So it is thus, as God starts coming in our life, that is the meaning of a dynamic devotion. Otherwise, it is static devotion. Okay, do sometimes if you remember, then do pranam or chant some hymn or give some donation to some shrine, and it is over there. So, but dynamic devotion means you go closer and closer to God, bring God more and more in your life. And the benefit can be seen right away. It doesn't take too long to actually experience the benefit that your life becomes more full of love. Eh, the irritations are gone. It is otherwise the life is full of so many irritations and resentments. Resentment that this fellow did a wrong turn to me, and this fellow was bad to me, and you keep on collecting the resentments. So the life becomes, all these garbage yards starts thinking. But when you move towards God, things really change. You have that attitude of forgiving. Well, the same God is in everyone, and thus you do not hold anybody as your enemy. You do not think bad about anybody, and no resentments are accumulated anymore. The existing ones are discarded. So, and also you feel that the bliss of the presence of God, that you become happy. I can guarantee you, friends, I have seen thousands of people when this devotion starts manifesting actually in their life, they become happy people. What, Aloka, do you want to become happy? No. Eh?
Of course, yes.
Yes. So, therefore, let God be brought into your life eh, through this real devotion. Uh, then you will be happy, you will be more loving, caring, and so forth. No resentments in life then. So, this is how you feel the presence of God. And then to keep on that presence of God constantly functioning in life. Now you need a place. Hmm. You feel that there should be some place where I can go and pray to God, start feeling the presence of God there more. Uh, so that is how the idea everywhere in all religions you will find this idea of uh, practicing meditations or prayers or worship together has become a reality. Take up, for example, Islam. Hmm. There is no image worship is not allowed and all that. But the mosque becomes actually an image, you know. It is a concrete form. Why people go there? Because at that place they feel more inspirational. When thousands of people join together, the spirit of prayer can become more concrete. You can feel it. Same you will find in many Hindu temples, many churches. So, why? When it comes, the need of a temple, mm, I feel like going back to the history of ancient Aryans. Ancient, these Vedic people. In Vedas, there is absolutely no mention of any temple. There is no mention of any Hindu temple existing. Uh, the word Hindu itself was much later, but even they, what used to be called like Sanatana Dharma or Vedic religion, there is no mention of temple anywhere till the Buddhist period. Swami Vivekananda says that it is in the declining period of Buddhism that the temples came and Hindus adopted those. There was no temple before that. If you see the nature of worship in Vedic times, uh, at home individually there would be some fire lit, and in that fire, because fire is the great symbol of God, now also, when people do homa, they light a fire and tell that, oh fire, you are God. And then saying that, you offer oblations to that fire. Like when there is the homa done in the name of Sri Ramakrishna, first thing is that fire is lit and that fire is given the name Sri Ramakrishna. Agni, Tvam Ramakrishna Namasi. Oh fire, your name is Sri Ramakrishna. And thus now you see that fire as Sri Ramakrishna and pour the offerings in that fire. So that used to be the nature, an individual worship. There was no uh, common worship except there would be some big sacrifice arranged, and there would be one temporarily put canopy, pendal like that, but no temple as such. But that doesn't mean that the temple was not needed. The need came to fulfillment in the Buddhist periods. And we should learn from others. The earlier the Vedic worshippers, they did not know about this kind of organized worship and the benefits of it. But then, seeing how people can together follow this everything, the teachings, and one helps the other. The community is where we come together for a common purpose and help each other to achieve that common purpose. So, seeing that the Buddhists do it, they adopted that, and then many Hindu temples. The word Hindu wasn't there then. The temples came up. Hindu is a much, much later word, as you can read in Swami Vivekananda's beautiful essay on Hinduism in Parliament of Religions. That that is a name given by the Britishers to us, that they are Hindus. It was just a geographical name of the Indian subcontinent. And the Persians used to call the people there as Hindus. And the Britishers followed that, added one more thing. Not only people, the customs, the religious ideas of those people was then concretized uh, and being called as Hinduism. Hmm. Actually, for them, the religion was only Christianity. They didn't know any other religion. So, therefore, all others became isms. Buddhism, Taoism, Judaism, Mohammedanism, Hinduism. See, like capitalism, Marxism, and that this also became like that Hinduism. So, but the idea of temples, it took root. That yes, because worship or the religious practices done together helps everybody. It is helps everybody because when many people come together with the same feelings, it is like the uh, tuned, properly tuned string instruments kept together. And when one is played by resonance, all other instruments also start playing. And that is why when your singer is going to sing, now puts on something like tampura or a note of harmonium so that the chords in the throat they get tuned to that. So this is how when hundreds of people are coming together and praying, an atmosphere, a concordance gets built therein. That and thus the whole thing becomes a very strong presentation or strong conveying. Everybody feels that presence because of the heightened uh, all these vibrations coming together to a resonance. So everybody feels that, and that is why the temples they become very effective in the practice of all religions, and therefore that is the necessity that of the temple that one can feel. It is a question: why should one spends so much money for building temple. I just went to see the construction work that is going on the Vedanta Society of North Carolina temple site. I was very happy to see the progress that has taken place. A very difficult, daunting work, but is being carried on and with lot of perseverance, thanks to all the volunteers led by our Samrat. So it is wonderful, and the cost could go close to 2 millions all put together. Mm. And then there will be some who will be questioning what is the need for that. And I have heard this question not just about the temple here, everywhere, even in India, that why should there be this spending so much money on temple? Ah, that let us therefore spend that money in serving the poor people, as that Vivekananda song that was beautifully sung there. So it has this phrase that Artho Joner Seva, that let that be the temple. Let us spend money for that instead of building this big temple. Why should we build a temple spending so much money? On the surface of it, the argument seems to be very correct. It appears that, oh, lot of money is being wasted. Not that. I remember an article, actually, it was a speech then converted into article by one of our past presidents. Uh, Actually, the immediate past president, Swami Smaranananda. So, he was speaking about this, that, and he said, look, that the health is not just physical. Hmm. Health is not just physical. That we are having one guest in Providence right now. She was earlier a regular that doctor from India, having completed her MBBS and all that. But then she decided to move to psychology. And I know not only hers, somebody who was in US also practiced different streams of medical treatment. They dropped it and turned to psychology. Why? Because the disease, of course, physical diseases are there, and we don't deny that. But most physical diseases actually originate in mind.
Yes, absolutely.
It is good, you know that, wonderful. So it is, uh, and therefore, only physical treatment provided only at the physical level will not be enough. There has to be treatment provided at the mental level. Not going to the so-called psychologist, but to have a place where people can meditate. It is the great efficacy of meditation in calming down the mind, thinking about the higher goals of life. Like in psychology, many problems people get are because they don't see the purpose of life. What is all this? I don't feel any interest in the life. It is they get depressed. What is the purpose of living? So it is thus when you think of a great life like Sri Ramakrishna, you get the purpose of life. God realization is the goal of life. Then it is so true. It is so true that God realization is the goal of human life. Hmm. Somebody may not agree with it. That how God realization. Ah, and nowadays this soccer, football, this World Cup going on. So many suddenly get the young people get the inspiration. My ideal in life is to become the best soccer player. They have all those pictures of great soccer players and so forth on their walls. I want to become that. Can that be the goal of life, friends? Think about it. You can become one of the most acclaimed soccer players. Will that completely fulfill your life? The question will still remain, what next? I became most acclaimed soccer player. Uh, then what next? So the questions they keep on popping like that. What is next? You can become your goal could be becoming a big billionaire or trillionaire. Uh, Suppose you become that. Okay, what next? Now the question is how to spend that money uh, and keep make that people should not come and steal it. So it is like that. Mm, that somebody who was, very uh, mm, most the richest person not too long ago, and then became then not so rich. He dropped down. Why? Because he had problem with wife, and so the wife got filed divorce, and he had to share half of his money with wife. So now he has only half left. So it is so the money finds its way. So you have to not only earn money, but hold on to it. Because if you have money, there will be a lot of people wanting to take from you. So can that be the goal of life? You will say no. And then after ruling out all these, you start feeling that after all what Sri Ramakrishna told makes sense, that experiencing God is the goal of life. I am saying this the goal uh, with underscoring it and with capital letters. The goal of life. It is there cannot be any other goal because no other thing can really fulfill us when we realize God. As Bhagavad Gita says, nothing remains further to be achieved. Nothing remains further to be achieved. That is the state that one comes to. And this, understanding a temple can help us to acquire that yes, uh, by coming to the temple, by feeling the resonance of this devotion of so many people around, you start feeling yes, yes, uh, what Sri Ramakrishna is saying is true. Most of these things happen not logically. Hmm. They don't happen logically, they happen psychologically. Means you start feeling it. You do not see that the cause effect relationships there, but you start feeling it. It is like if you start taking some medication, and if the medication is right, gradually you will start feeling the effect of it. So it is something like that, that uh, by coming to the temple, you this coming together for a purpose. Everybody comes there to get the benefit of associating with God. like the temple that is being built here dedicated to Sri Ramakrishna. But it could be, any temple or any church for that matter. The idea is to get the message, the silent message that the presence is emanating. The presence emanates the message. I don't know how to put this thing in a better way, that it emanates. Like the when sun is shining, and the sun doesn't have to think, okay, let me scatter my light on everybody. No, it is the presence of sun that automatically does it. So, when we are in divine presence, automatically we feel that the presence is entering in us, and making our heart filled with those great virtues of life. We start feeling, have a benevolent feeling, the tendency to go and quarrel, that gets reduced. Mm, it is, otherwise one may be having a tendency. Uh, Let me get hold of that fellow and give him a big blow. Come to the temple. Soon that idea gets calmed down. You start thinking, yes, people make mistakes. Mm. One of our friends, he passed away recently, Joe Dwyer. I don't know, yes, she might have met him. Joe Dwyer in Marshfield, you must have met him.
Yes, yes.
Joe Dwyer, yeah. So,
The black man?
no,
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 he is
no.
a
He
very
was
fair,
fair.
Okay,
yes,
I understand. Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah.
yes, yes,
Sorry,
a great singer,
Yeah,
So, Joe
yeah,
Dwyer.
I remember that.
So, yeah, Boston. So,
Boston.
yeah,
Yeah,
he used to live in our retreat center in Marshfield.
yeah.
So, uh, he was telling once that when somebody else does a wrong turn, you feel wrong turn to you. I, immediately the anger wells up, and maybe that is, in most cases, the cause behind the road rages, that the anger wells up, that whatever it is, yeah. So at that time, just think, have you never done anything like that before? Were you not the culprit of the same crime before? Was your life fully without any such blemish? And immediately the calming influence comes. No, I also had this problem. I also committed such blunders. And so uh, then that forgiveness comes, and that happens in a temple. When you come in the presence of God, you may not have to think also. The very calming presence that does it. I have seen this happening in Providence. Those workers, they haven't come, they never came there actually to do any worship or participate in religious gatherings. No, they came there to just do whatever work they were called to do. Uh, and many times they felt how peaceful it feels here. It feels so peaceful here. One elevator inspector, he always would remark that I come here as inspector, but it is, I always feel, and I come for that also, to feel the peace there. And I used to wonder, what is the peace there? Externally speaking, there is no peace. It is the Vedanta Society there is on a very busy thoroughfare. Those of you who have come, seen that place, it is surrounded by this Brown University, other schools, and always, it is a city that was sound noise is going on all the time. So the peace that one feels is not external, it is the internal peace that you, as soon as you get your mind calmed down, you feel that spatial peace. Whether the external atmosphere is, without any sound or not, matters not. It is this feeling that one gets in the temple that is like that. Some of our temples in India, they are in a very noisy place. Always the vehicles are going on near the train station. Imagine, constant noise, and yet the internal peace they still could impart, and that is most important. So the mind gets calmed down. So, and this is just by presence. Uh, but more happens when you conscientiously, deliberately make the attempt to follow those teachings, study those and follow those. Now, that brings you another level of imbibing the message through just the presence, just through the examples, you do imbibe. But that at the temple, you see the singing the name of God, reading and discussing the message of God, all that happens. The discussions, say, like on Bhagavad Gita or on whatever great scriptures, they happen, and then we get the message in us. So that is another great important thing about the temple. It should have that. Mm. Please, I suggest, and of course, the members of the Vedanta Society must have already done that. But if not, it is my humble request that read about Swami Vivekananda's idea of temple. Swami Vivekananda, many think that he was against temples. Some superficial reading of Vivekananda does give that impression, I cannot deny. But he was the one who initiated the process of constructing one of the great temples at Belur Mutt. The first temple of that size at Belur Mutt was done, and it was the whole this plan A to Z was made by Vivekananda himself, taking into consideration so many aspects. It is actually worth, those who want to build a temple, especially the temple in the line of the Sri Ramakrishna Vivekananda Holy Mother, should be benefited by studying that. Swami Vivekananda's that thoughts about temple. He discussed that with the engineer come architect Swami Vijnanananda at length, and then the ideas he had about it, enormous, harmonious, how the different cultures of India and also Europe, their architecture is to be included, the temple architecture. It is, it should be the ideal of Sri Ramakrishna presented in stone, in concrete. As you see that, you must be feeling it is Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, Swamiji, their presence is palpable there in these stones. It is all, it happens, I saw many such temple constructions that it is like the poetry, poetry in concrete. It is when I saw the Sri Ramakrishna temple in Lucknow. Swami Sridharananda, the great Swami who recently passed away at the age of just 100. So it is, uh, he was a person of very special abilities, a tremendously scholarly person, a great orator, uh, and this idea of making things in right spirit. Mm, that how a particular stone should be, how the ideal should be depicted there. It is every single thing was given proper thought in making it. So it is when you think of it, the whole thing becomes, the message for you. This is how the idea of temple comes. So the temple is therefore we need, and that is the topic today, isn't it? The
Place of
need.
worship.
Yes.
Yeah, how do you need the temple? Why do you need the temple? For this purpose, the temple is needed. Now I will turn to another aspect of it, which is also very important. And the temple is very important. Agreed. Temple is needed. Agreed. But, I'm saying but, associated with that are some hazards, some difficulties. When you have many people, we are all human beings. So we have both these tendencies. Yogatmananda has some tendency for devotion, for spiritual life. Yes, but then there are other tendencies too, and they also try to come up the tendency of getting more enjoyment, a tendency to get more power, uh, because when there is this big temple now, there will be, yeah, so I want to control it now. Hmm. I'm not just telling the possibility philosophically, but that is how automatically we are all human beings. We have all these tendencies hidden in us. In our Nagpur, there was a great Swami, Swami Bhaskareshwarananda. Did you get a chance to see him? No.
No.
No, no. Means you were too little, you were not, probably not born also when he passed away. So he was a disciple of Swami Shivananda and a great spiritual teacher. So he used to say that yes, you have this spiritual urge, but hidden there are also all those animals in you. There are the jackals and wolves and snakes. They are also in you. In our mind, such things are there. I don't want to, scare you, but one must be careful about it. That when we come to the temple, we must make a very strong, determined effort to not let those things uh, take precedence. It takes efforts. Otherwise, they come out first. There is a nice story in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad about the demons and the angels, what we call the Asuras and Devas. So, Asuras and Devas both are the progeny of God. Both are from God. But the Asuras, the demons, they came first. They are the elder ones. Because angels came to subdue those, like the thieves, the criminals. They are first. The police come only to suppress them. It is if there is no criminals, no job for the police. Do you see? It is the criminals are first. Then come those who want to have to suppress the criminals, the police, and other things. So we must remember all those tendencies are actually in us. We are human beings. And so it is good to beware. And that Swami used to say, that as the Swami I referred to, Swami Bhaskareshwarananda, that yes, you have God in you, but also you are in ignorance, you are in Maya. So devil also is in you. Let us think about it. So as the temple gets done, as the temple gets done, people start coming, and then while certainly there will be the upsurge of devotional activities, uh, there will also be an upsurge of these tendencies in us. Swami Yatishwarananda says in that very beautiful book, very helpful for our spiritual life. I suggest it to many, I myself read it very often. Meditation and spiritual life. So he says there that when you water a garden, uh, not only the plants that you want to grow, all those weeds also get the water, even though you don't want them to grow. They get that water and they receive it more powerfully. They are good at quarrel. And so therefore they push away the other plants that you wanted, and they are weak. So the strong evil things they snatch. So therefore they snatch, they become powerful. And so it is, one must be cautious that yes, the temple is there. So many things in human mind come. And I have seen that happening multiple times in very many places. Uh, that I don't want to, elaborate on this, but just one example. What can be a holier temple than Belur Math temple? A great holy place. Hmm. There are have been there have been many devotees. Those devotees were volunteers, became volunteers, and became expert thieves in pilfering the money there.
Oh my goodness.
It is when they were discovered and caught, everybody was shocked. Oh, this fellow was such a great devotee. Was. It is at one time. But those tendencies start coming. Mm. And then you see that you have the chance, you have the chance to steal something. Then it takes some efforts to suppress that. So I am telling that as the temple comes up, one every temple has this problem. I have gone to many temples, the Hindu temples, a big problem, you know. It is also the different churches and these Jewish temples, everywhere you find there is one uh, very uh, seemingly a great volunteer in Jewish synagogue. He was a Jewish person and then was uh, at the forefront in Providence City and Rhode Island in general on many such these religious activities. Suddenly, there was a notification that he is no more connected with this work. Why? They didn't tell why, but later I learned that there were some such problems. So, why I am saying is that let us beware about it. If you are beware, uh, that it is, Holy Mother used to say that the one who is beware doesn't have to fear too much. It is very important, therefore, to beware of this situation as this temple becomes a reality soon. Yeah, it may take a few more months or a year or whatever, you know. It's not that important. But we have to be careful. All of you are parts of that temple. The regular workers, regular donors, and beneficiaries also. So one must be very careful regarding that. And I was very happy when Samrat shared that video about Sarva Priyanand being honored by these old, very old devotees. Yeah, it is. I am associated uh, with this far before many of you have come. Now I see only two from that time, only two from 2002. Mm. There was no this Vedanta Society building. Our uh, this Usha and Umesh, they used to arrange hall, and then Mina uh, and her husband. So they at their home, they persevered, you know, with this, that yes, let us have some simple thing like reading of the Gospel of Sri Ram Krishna. uh, and that was very nice, you know. So the things grow, and now we are at this stage where the tree is now has become big, and is going to become bigger. Soon the fruits it will be yielding, and you all and I too will be a beneficiary of those fruits of devotion. That those fruits will bring all this divine message of scriptures in our life. The scriptures declare uh, that you are divine. As that famous statement of Vivekananda and Parliament of Religions, ye the children of the immortality, Shrinuvantu Vishve, Amritasya Putraha. So we all will get that message and making our life illumined. So this all, now we have the opportunity to put our shoulder. You have already been doing it, and I am really very pleasantly surprised that how so many people have gotten involved into this great work that is being carried on. And uh, I can just express my heartfelt, prayerful feelings and best wishes for this work. And I'm very happy to have gotten this opportunity to say a few words on this evening, on this occasion. Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishna Jagadguru Padpadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhuru.
Anyone has any questions?
Has anybody has any question? Well, she has a question. No, it seems nobody has a question.
So, Swamiji, how to develop devotion?
How to develop devotion?
Increase your devotion.
Yes, it is a very important thing. How to develop by practice. You know, devotion, they're like how do you develop your strength of a muscle? That you give exercise to those muscles. The muscles that you give exercise to, they attain strength. So give more exercise to your devotional muscle. That is practice devotion every day. Every morning, every evening, actually 24/7, and then the devotion will become stronger and stronger. You can yourself feel it, you know. Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji. Swamiji, by the way, has refused to take any pranami from our center till it's all done. So that's why we are not able to offer any pranami from our center.
শুদ্ধ মঙ্গল প্রেমময় তুমি ধ্রুব জ্যোতি তুমি অন্ধকারে শুদ্ধ মঙ্গল প্রেমময় তুমি ধ্রুব জ্যোতি তুমি অন্ধকারে তুমি সদা হৃদে বিরাজ তুমি সদা হৃদে বিরাজ দুঃখ জ্বালা সেই পাশরে সব দুঃখ জ্বালা সেই পাশরে সত্য মঙ্গল প্রেমময় তুমি ধ্রুব জ্যোতি তুমি অন্ধকারে তোমার জ্ঞানে তোমার ধ্যানে তব নামে কত মাধুরী তোমার জ্ঞানে তোমার ধ্যানে তব নামে কত মাধুরী ভক্ত সেই জানে যে ভক্ত সেই জানে তুমি জানা জানে সেই জানে ওহে Jyoti